Hello and welcome to my tutorial. At the end of this you will be able to use Mixamo animations with the mannequin character or any other mesh such as a character creator model. You will also be able to use mannequin animations on any other character, again the character creator, or a Mixamo character or a fuse character. You can see that that is the same pose. So that is fully retargeted and fully working with ALS. So you can see here the mannequin is performing a Mixamo animation, and this also has full root motion. So this will work if you want to use root motion. There's many methods that I've seen for this, but I figured something out with this one and it works almost perfectly. So you can transfer the animations to any skeletal mesh and use any skeletal mesh with the mannequin animations. So this will involve retargeting and adding root bones. The things that you will need for this, obviously Unreal Engine. You're also going to need Blender, and also the Mixamo converter add-on. Now you can download all of these things for free. I probably shouldn't show you the Pirate Bay. So we have Blender, so you would download and install that. We also have the Mixamo converter, which is available on GitHub, so I'll put the links in the description and you will download this. Let me do it as an example. So we'll download that. So let's go straight into the first step. The problem that we face is that the Mixamo animations have no root and the Mixamo characters have no root. So we can add roots, but that is a difficult process and it doesn't always work. And then the second problem, we have to match the mannequin, which is in an A pose, to the Mixamo character that is in a T pose, and that's really difficult to get right. And then we end up with hands not matching and feet not matching, and it doesn't look good. The most important thing we need to do is get this mannequin character into the same pose as the Mixamo character. So the first thing we need to do is export the mannequin as an FBX file. So we right click on it, go to Asset Actions, Export FBX file, and we're just going to save it to the desktop. This will all be fine. Export. Okay, now we go to Mixamo. I'm actually going to open up a new Mixamo window. So the thing we can do here is upload a character. So we click Upload, select character file. On our desktop we have mannequin. We open and it will upload. Now this will bring the mannequin into Mixamo. Now unfortunately we can't just download the animations and they will work. Because the character has a root bone, it will mess up the animations when you bring them back into the engine. They're not correct. So this will take a moment to load, and I will skip this part. Okay, so you can see that the mannequin character is into the Mixamo site now. We'll just press next and we will ignore that. Okay, there he is. He's just in his A pose. We can play these animations, but if we download this animation, it will not work in the engine. It will fix to the root bone and he will do everything stuck on the spot. and not be able to move up or down. It may seem like that will work, but it just won't. There's another few steps that we have to take, unfortunately. So, as you can see, he came in an A pose. We need to get him into a T pose. So there we go. There's a T pose animation. And that's all really we need to do with this character. We download. We don't need the skin. And we download an FBX. Okay. So here we've got our T-pose animation. Let's go. I've actually got a test folder for this. So it would be good to create a test folder. I'm going to bring it in even though I already have it, just to show you. So we have the T-pose, we drag it in. Okay, we don't want to do this. We need to choose the skeleton. So the one I exported is actually the ALS mannequin skeleton, but it could be any mannequin, it doesn't matter. So you choose that one and press import. Okay. Right, there we've got our character. Let me disable that. In the T-pose from Mixamo. And that's the first step to getting a correct matching pose. Okay, the next step. Now we want to choose a Mixamo character as our placeholder. So some of the skeletons here are a little different, but it's the same basic structure. The best one I've found to use is this guy, the Exo Grey. He matches the mannequin the most closely. So mainly the hips here is where it matches quite well. So it's the closest one you're going to get. It will work with any of these, but it will just be slightly more accurate, like 2% more accurate to use this character. As you can see, he's in a T-pose, but we don't want to use just the standard T-pose. We actually want to get him in the T-pose that is in Mixamo, because it is very, very slightly different. So now he's in the same pose as the mannequin. We download him. We actually want to get the skin this time because we're going to import him as a new character. Download. Okay, so that downloaded, and we can get that from the downloads folder, and we would right click and cut it. We want to put it into our own file structure. So let's go create a new file called, or new folder called Mixamo, whatever, it doesn't matter. Now this is important, and this is important in the way it works with the converter. So let's put this in the main folder. We want to create another folder called converted. That's really the only other one we need. This one is just for the originals. So we want one folder, we put in the animation we want to convert, or the character we want to convert, and then a converted where the result will go. And in here I've also put an imported one to drag the completed files once I've put them in the engine. So we have our character here. Let's call him Mix Car Test. Okay. Now we will open Blender. So the thing you need to do with Blender is add the converter. We need to download it from here. Download as a zip. I already have it, of course. So in here in Blender, we would go to User Preferences. We need to go to Install Add-on from File once we're in the Add-ons section. So wherever your downloads folder is, it will be Mixamo Converter Master. We click Install Add-on from File. I already have it. But that should work, and you need to save user settings. But I think if you search here for mix, okay, so as long as this is checked, it will function. I'm not sure, maybe you have to restart Blender, I can't remember. But now is the conversion step. So we already created our file path for the input and the output. Let's do that first. On the input, I created this folder, Mixamo procedure new test. Okay, you can see that our character is in there, the FBX file. Do not select it. It's the folder we are selecting, not the FBX file. If you just clicked it, cancel and then do it again. So it's just the folder, not the file. Accept. So there it is. The output folder, again, so the one we just created will show here, is our converted folder. Accept. There's a few other settings we need to take care of. All this is fine, but we need to click advanced options. The hip name of a Mixamo character, hips. We want to use Unreal Engine bone names. Fix bind, apply rotation, and apply scale. Ignore leaf bones, automatic bone orientation. Everything else is fine. We don't want to touch the experimental options. So as long as your settings are the same as mine, okay, we press the batch convert. And I'll explain the batch convert when we do another stage here. Right, so I think here it says 1 files converted, which is bad English. So now in our folder we've got a converted file. This is the character, and now it will have a root bone, and it will be named in the Unreal format. All the bones will be renamed in the Unreal format. So converted, we will just drag it into the engine. We'll put it into this folder that we created. So here we actually want to just leave this all normal. Yeah, so it's just a standard import as we would normally. Import. So here we have the character. We don't really need his materials, they're not important here. He's just a placeholder. So in this folder now we have our T-pose for our mannequin, and we have our T-pose, which is this one, for our Mixamo character. There's a couple of things that are annoying that we need to do now. We open him up so we can see his skeleton now. So let's check it out. So if you've seen a Mixamo character in the engine before, it would generally start with hips, and then all these names would be slightly different, and it would not have a root bone. Here we have a root. So if we click preview animation, we select that. It looks the same actually, but we also want to show retargeting options. Right click here, skeleton. Well, recursively set translation retargeting skeleton. Okay, we want animation scaled, animation scaled. Okay, so the other things we need to do: preview mesh. Choose your mesh, there will only be one. Apply to asset. It won't work if you don't do this. We go to the mesh. That's fine. We go to the animation. Again, apply to asset. Let's save everything. So here is the first example of what we can do now. Let's open this one and we'll get to the mannequin skeleton. Okay, So really we want to end up, we have our skeleton, our Mixamo skeleton, and our Mixamo T-pose. We have our ALS, or our mannequin skeleton, and our mannequin T-pose. Okay, so you can see in here, we also want to set this the same skeleton animation scaled. Okay, so you can see that the actual mannequin is still in the A pose. If you're using ALS or any IK stuff, disable it. Okay, so he's in the wrong pose. We need to go to preview animation, and we just type T-pose. So these are actually the same. It's this one that we just brought in. You should just have one option because you just imported it. Right. Now we have them in the same pose. We go to retarget manager on here. These should all be correct because nothing has changed. You would select humanoid if it's not already selected. Modify pose, use current pose. Go to the Mixamo skeleton, retarget manager, and if you can't see that, then I can't remember where it is. Okay, if you can't see that, it's here. Window, retarget manager. Retarget manager. Okay. Select the rig, humanoid. This should all be correct. Okay. Advanced. Again, another advantage here is you don't have to do all this manually like you do with the standard Mixamo method. It does say in the with the converter to change these as well. Don't do it for this method. It will mess up the animations. Modify the pose. Use current pose. Now, let's find an animation from the mannequin. So we got animations. Let's see. It doesn't really matter what it is. Let's do this getting up one, right? This can be any animation. It really doesn't matter. This is just an example. So you can see he is getting up off the floor. So here there is movement of the pelvis, so that will help us demonstrate. Okay. So we get the animation. Right click, retarget anim assets, duplicate anim assets and retarget. Here you can see that our mannequin is in the T pose. Now we need to select the skeleton that we want to move to, which is the Mixca test skeleton. It's the same skeleton here. As you can see, the poses match. A couple of things we can do here. You might want to put here mix or like Mixamo something just to make sure they are named separately. You could put that after, or you could change something for something. So you can remove what's this animation called? So you could replace ALS with mix. Okay. Also, you want to choose where you are going to save this new animation to. I've created a dump folder just for tests, but you would put it into a folder that you have designated for your animations for that character or for that skeleton. Press OK. Right, now we click retarget. It's done it, and it will automatically take you to the folder. So let's open it. There you go. The Mixamo character is performing the mannequin animation, and he's doing it in exactly the same way. The pelvis is moving, he's in contact with the floor. It's really as close as possible that it's ever going to get. Right, so that's the first example done. The thing that you would do with this, the best thing to do, especially in ALS, he has an animation blueprint. You would want to use your animation blueprint on a different character, on the Mixamo character. You would right click here and you will retarget, and you would do it exactly the same way. And then it will retarget every animation within that blueprint and allow you to use ALS with your Mixamo character. And that's really the biggest thing here that will give you a perfect translation into the new character. So the next thing you can do is use Mixamo animations on your mannequin character or any other character. So let's see, if we wanted to use, I don't know why we'd use this. Let's use this one because there's a jump, so this will show us how it works. Again, we have our character that we chose, this Exo Grey character. We don't want the skin. FBX without skin, download. Okay, and let's say we want some of these animations, let's say without skin. Or let's try a climb animation. What we got? No, these are too similar. Good one. A good one, let's say a swimming animation. We want this in place. We don't want to use root motion for this. Okay, let's make him swim fast. Okay, so we just got 3 animations there, but you could get quite a few. So let's cut these and go back to our folder. So let's put him in imported. So the main file path, that was our character. We can either put that in base model or we can just delete it for later. Let's paste our new animations in here. So we've got jump attack, swing to land, and swimming. Go back to Mixamo. Everything is already set up in the same way. So if you had it open, it will work. But you would reset the settings if you have to open it again and make sure your file paths are correct. Again, don't choose the file, choose the folder. Batch convert. Depending how many you've put in, it will take a while. There's no progress bar. You just have to wait. Okay, it's done. You can see here you get the notification, 3 files converted, and this goes white again, so you know when it's done. Okay, so where's our folder? Okay, converted. So it's these 3 files. These are the converted versions now in the converted folder. So let's go to the engine and we'll go back to our test folder. So this is where our character is. So let's take a note of his name. Mix char test skeleton. Animations. Drag into the engine. It's actually selecting the skeleton for us. Okay. We don't want a mesh. Deselect that. And import all because there's more than one. It will bring them into the engine. Okay, so firstly, let's play that. Okay, so you can see that the animation works and the animation has a root bone. So that will allow you to perform root motion on this character straight away. Okay, that's a great advantage. As you can see with swimming, even the root moves on this, so it looks more natural than just using it with pelvis. Right, okay. So, but the other thing we want to do, we might want this on a different character, or we might want it on the mannequin for prototyping, and then we'll change the character later. It's exactly the same process as it was before. Let's choose swing to land. Let's open it up. Again, we need to click this apply to asset, or it might not work. Let's save it and play this one. So he swings. Yeah, okay. So we'd use root motion with that. Right click. Well, let's do them all, shall we? Again, apply to asset and jump attack, apply to asset. Let's select 1, 2, 3. Right click, retarget anim assets, duplicate anim assets. We have our skeleton or our preview mesh here. We want to do it to our mannequin skeleton. In this instance, it's the ALS mannequin. But again, this could be any skeleton. Okay, we can retarget to anyone as long as, see, he's not in the T-pose. But if we set him to the T-pose, he will be able to take that animation. But let's do the ALS. Again, we'll change the folder to this dump folder just because it's a test, and we will put in front of it test as a prefix. Retarget. Okay, it's done them straight away. Dump, jump attack. Okay, disable that if it's on. Okay, there you go. Again, the root moves with the character, but he stays on the floor. So that one works perfectly. Swimming, you don't want that on. Swimming, again, look, he works perfectly. And then, oh my god, here we go. The swing animation, again, it all works perfectly. But let's, if you turn that on, it goes straight through his legs. But yeah, as you can see, this all works, and he will be able to use root motion. Okay, so that concludes everything. That should give you everything you need to get one, mannequin features or mannequin animations working with Mixamo characters, and 2, get Mixamo animations working with mannequin character or any character such as the character creator. It allows full root motion and matches the pose almost perfectly, even down to the fingers. It's almost perfect. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching. I now have a Discord that I will put in the description, and also all the downloads will be in the description. I don't want to answer that many questions though. This should be straightforward, and if you're going to do this anyway, you need a little experience with the engine. Okay, thanks a lot, and hopefully I'll post again soon.